This is KGW News at noon.
And we start with breaking news at noon. The city of Portland has agreed to settle a lawsuit over homeless tents that block sidewalks across the city. The lawsuit was first filed back in September. The lawyer representing the 10 Portlanders who sued announced the deal today. The city council still needs to approve this next week. Then it will be presented to the judge. As part of the agreement, the city is promising big changes over the next 5 years. That includes spending at least $8 million in the next fiscal year to remove campsites that block sidewalks, a new 24-hour hotline to report sidewalk obstructions, and no camping signs posted in problem areas. The city also has to provide quarterly reports to the public showing that it's in compliance. The plaintiffs will also get $5,000 apiece. Meanwhile, today, Mayor Ted Wheeler will announce a new camping ban from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day. Now, that is not part of the settlement, but it will help the city accomplish some of the same goals. We're going to have much more on this coming up later this afternoon on KGW News at 4. Also in Portland, the city is debating whether to renew its contract with Multnomah County to support homeless services. The Joint Office of Homeless Services was created 6 years ago as a collaboration between the city and the county. The city pays $43 million as part of this agreement. Commissioners Mingus Mapps and Renee Gonzalez are reluctant to renew the contract. They say they're concerned about transparency and how the money is spent.
We call this the joint office, but there's actually no coordination between the city and county around houselessness services.
So we can make progress, I'll support it, but I will not support renewing under its existing terms.
City Council will vote next week on whether to renew their contract with the county. Across the Columbia, Vancouver has announced where it hopes to locate its fourth city-sanctioned homeless village. The Safe Stay community would be just west of I-5, north of Discovery Middle School and Kiggins Bowl. WashDOT would lease the land to the city. Officials say they chose this spot because it's close to public transportation and homeless people live nearby. 20 units would house up to 40 people. The area would be fenced, and the nonprofit Do Good Multnomah would staff it 24/7. Vancouver is now asking the public to share their opinions. There is an online hearing next Wednesday and then another in-person meeting coming up on June 5th. We have an update on a fire that torched a building on the Reynolds High School campus in Gresham. Fire investigators are calling this arson, and there's now a reward for information. The fire started 2 weeks ago in the middle of the night. The building is near the school's track and field. It was used for storing sports equipment. Gresham Fire still has a portion of the track blocked off with a fence. You can see there's now a banner on the fence letting people know there's a $5,000 reward for information. Well, you may have smelled burning rubber in Northeast Portland this morning. It's from this massive pile of shredded tires that caught fire near Moda Center. Portland Fire says a TriMet driver reported the blaze around 2:45. Crews put out the flames in less than an hour. At this point, it's unclear what started the fire. Well, the unofficial start of summer is coming up this weekend. 43 million people nationwide will head out of town for Memorial Day. If you're driving to the beach or the gorge, good news. It'll cost less to fill up your car this year. Maggie Vespa breaks down the numbers.
Bit of a mixed bag of expectations for those traveling for the Memorial Day weekend, but we'll start with the good news. Gas is down. Here in Chicago, it's at $4.79 for a gallon of regular. The national average this morning, according to AAA, is $3.57 a gallon. Think back to about a year ago this time. It's down more than $1 from Memorial Day weekend of last year. That being said, if you're driving, you could hit some traffic. 37 million Americans expected to hit the road this weekend. So some tips to avoid the worst of it. Experts say if you can, avoid hitting the road tomorrow when traffic is expected to be at its heaviest. So avoid Friday. They say it should lighten up on Saturday and Sunday. And regardless of what day you hit the road, they say try to avoid driving between 3 and 6 p.m. That's when traffic will be at its worst. It's better to drive basically in the morning or the evening. And then, of course, if you're one of the 3.4 million Americans planning to fly this holiday weekend, the gold standards always hold true. Get to the airport at least 2 hours early if you can, and also download the airline's app ahead of time. Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Chicago.
All right, have all those details now, Rod. All we need is some nice weather for the holiday.
Which overall we're going to have. You know, a year ago it was kind of rainy and chilly on Memorial Day weekend. Not this go around. Here's Cannon Beach Live right now. Look at all the people out enjoying a stroll on the beach. The tide's out, so you can walk up to Haystack Rock. It is 60 degrees. It will be a beautiful day at the coast tomorrow as well. But once we get into the actual 3-day Memorial Day weekend, morning clouds could be around much of the day in some areas on Saturday, holding high temperatures between 58 and 62, and maybe some mist, some drizzle spots. Sunday could be a similar start. Memorial Day itself on Monday looks to be the sunniest, warmest of the bunch at the beach. In fact, there could be some areas get all the way up to 70 degrees. No storminess, just the return to that marine layer coming in the morning hours and setting the table for cooler weather. Right now, we're at 72 degrees. Easily going to make it up into the 80s this afternoon for Portland. Again, a similar day tomorrow. Now, for Memorial Day itself, if you have plans to be outdoors, going to the cemetery, some remembrances around town. Portland and Salem, sunny and have up the high to 80. Hood River is about the same. Government Camp in the Cascades, sunny, 67. Bend, 80. And Seattle, if you're going up north on Monday, will be sunny and 73. Again, everybody's dry, minus that chance over the weekend and maybe some mist with a marine layer Saturday morning. Brenda, back to you.
Very nice. Thank you, Rod. Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt will have a challenger in 2024, and it's somebody in his own office. Longtime county prosecutor Nathan Vasquez announced he's running for his boss's job. In a campaign statement yesterday, Vasquez says he's worked in Multnomah County for more than 20 years, and much of that time was in the DA's office. He told the Oregonian he's running in response to what he calls failed leadership on gun violence and drugs. So far, he's Schmidt's only challenger. In an update to a KGW investigation, Oregon lawmakers just passed a bill cracking down on retail theft. It's a growing problem, and Senate Bill 340 makes it easier to prosecute shoplifters. It gives prosecutors more leeway to combine multiple thefts by the same suspect and create a more serious charge. It also adds a 2-year prison sentence for repeated property crimes.
These individuals are organized, and we know that they understand that they can target right now multiple retailers of different ownership and not be prosecuted under the law as it exists today. And this bill will change that.
The bill passed the Senate last month and just passed the House, so now it heads to the governor's desk. Well, we are hearing from an 11-year-old boy who says he was almost kidnapped at his lemonade stand in Vancouver. Austin Redfern and his friend, Bo Kidner, were set up outside their East Vancouver apartment complex on Northeast 109th Avenue on Tuesday. Everything was going fine until a stranger walked over.
He said, "Do you guys want to make $1,000 a week?" And we said, "No, thank you." And then he tried to take Austin to the end of the road to the stoplights. Some guy grabbed me and he tried to take me. I kicked his shin and I ran.
Austin did make it home, and he told his parents. His dad found the suspect seen here on this dash cam video and called police. Officers arrested 35-year-old Benjamin Kelly. He's now charged with attempted kidnapping. Today marks 3 years since a Minnesota police officer murdered George Floyd. This morning, President Biden honored Floyd's memory by releasing a statement urging Congress to pass meaningful legislation on police reform. He says he wants to work with Republicans and Democrats for genuine solutions. It was on this day in 2020 that Officer Derek Chauvin kneeled on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes. His death sparked nationwide protests. Chauvin was convicted of murder. 2 other officers involved are also serving prison time. Well, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is officially in the race for the White House, but his big announcement didn't go smoothly. It was filled with technical glitches. But his campaign is saying it was so popular, it crashed the internet. Here's Gabe Gutierrez.
I'm Ron DeSantis, and I'm running for president.
This morning, a very rocky rollout. Governor Ron DeSantis' team trying to recover after a glitchy start to his campaign.
All right, sorry about that. We've got so many people here that I think we are kind of melting the servers.
DeSantis claiming he, quote, broke the internet, but the audio-only chat with billionaire Elon Musk plagued by technical troubles.
There's so many people. It's unfortunate. I'd like to have never seen this before.
Frustration heard on hot mics.
Just keep crashing, huh?
The live stream cutting out and the event delayed for nearly a half hour before finally.
I am running for president of the United States to lead our great American comeback.
Overnight, DeSantis brushing it off.
It did break the Twitter space, and so we're really excited with the enthusiasm.
Arguing he's the best choice to take on President Biden.
You got to be able to win, and then when you get in office, you've got to be able to deliver results.
But his critics could hardly contain their delight, especially former President Trump slamming the Twitter announcement as a disaster. Even President Biden tweeting a fundraising page, dryly pointing out this link works. With the race in its infancy, Governor DeSantis trails Mr. Trump, the GOP frontrunner, by more than 25 points in many polls. But DeSantis is well ahead of any other potential challengers for now.
He's just an echo of Trump. I mean, I think that's not what the American people want to see.
In Miami, a group of protesters gathered outside a DeSantis fundraising meeting in an upscale hotel. We spoke with one of his donors who was in the room with other supporters as the glitches unfolded.
Because of the glitches, in hindsight, should he have stuck with a more traditional announcement?
I don't think so. I think it's who Governor DeSantis is. Look, he's a bold leader that's willing to try new things, and he's not going to just do the cookie cutter approach.